Sports ball.
And this is totally not the third time we're trying to record an introduction. Hi, my name is
Probably
Don.
the fourth or fifth.
My name is Don. This
I'm
is.
Sam.
And we are the OnlyFans podcast because we have absolutely no credentials behind our sports opinions and whatnot other than we like numbers and we like sports.
Hey, whoa, speak for yourself. I was a failed three-star prospect going into college, right?
Dude, I couldn't even make it to varsity for basketball. Then again, I stopped playing. I stopped doing sports my junior year of high school.
And you're also like 5'5", so.
But I love sports. Hence, this is the OnlyFans podcast.
Because we're only fans.
And this is for OnlyFans, unless there's analysts for some reason that like listening to people rant, even though they might not have the most accurate information.
This is like Barstool at its purest form. Because those guys get paid to like do analytics. And we're just here like, I'm not even on a bar stool. I'm on a bed.
Yeah, I'm on an office chair. Bed stool.
No. Yeah.
Barstool hire us, please, even though this is our only pilot. No, but yeah, anyways, why don't we get on to our first topic? Although it's been like, what, what?
We should kind of talk about, in case you haven't noticed, this is a very sports-centered podcast.
And
so
we're
going to be talking about sports, and not just like what we're talking about today, which is going to be NFL and NBA. We're going to be talking about pretty hockey, much soccer,
anything sports competition related, anything that involves people throwing their bodies at each other or whatever. We're pretty much just gonna talk about when we feel like it. As I said, we are only fans.
So are we gonna cover like Pornhub or something? I mean, just the way you described it.
Well, I mean, this is called OnlyFans.
All right. Well,
we could.
Porn's a sport now.
Oh, shut up. Okay. First topic. We are late as hell to this topic because we've both been busy, but the NFL wildcard games this last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
What a treat for football fans. Oh my lord.
I don't know if you could call it that. The Bills, I think, were the better team going into the Bills-Texans game. However, neither team really played like they wanted to go to the playoffs.
That was
the best way to describe this game was the Bills would play and they'd say, "Nah, I don't want it." And they'd like literally hand everything to the Texans.
This is one of the few times where I've watched a sports event and thought none of these teams deserve to win. Well, until the very end, but we'll get to that. So
they deserved a tie.
So what happened was the Texans overcame the Bills 22-19 in overtime. Josh Allen had 92 out of the 172 team rushing yards, but he did throw for 264 yards.
Running backs too.
Yeah, and he still he still had more than half of the team's rushing yards. Deshaun Watson, though, what a game in the second half. At least the first half was a nightmare for him. I can't remember how many times he was sacked.
Impressive to say the least.
It's like I can't remember. Was it like halfway through the third quarter where the Texans finally got fired up and they weren't getting battered by the Bills D line?
Bills D, yeah, pretty much.
No, but yeah.
Watching this game and looking at the stat line, the only two people I think who really cared, or at least were playing like they really cared, were Josh Allen and Deshaun Watson.
Shout out to Josh Allen Shorts on Twitter for getting me on the Josh Allen bandwagon. I have respect for him now. No,
Dude,
but yeah.
You know he's from like 30 minutes from me, like growing up in the middle of nowhere.
I remember you saying that whenever we were talking about it.
Yeah.
Initially. But yeah, so in OT, so as I said, Deshaun Watson did pretty fantastic. Fantastic in the second half, threw for 247 yards, had 121.2 passer rating, and boy, earlier when I said that both teams deserved to lose, that was until the end when Watson pulled out one of the nicest escapes I've seen in recent memory. So it's the game-ending drive for the Texans. I can't remember where they started off at. I think
they started off towards the
they were
20,
still on,
I believe.
they were still on the
No, it was a punt, not a kick. So they were
yeah,
probably in the 30s to 40.
Somewhere around there, but like
they weren't super far back, but they were pretty far back.
But the second to last play of the game and what set up for the game-winning field goal, Deshaun Watson escaped two rushers and then scrambled right, and while he was scrambling, homeboy just not really lobs, it was a pretty short pass, but there was a nice short pass on the run with two more rushers coming right at him, and got it right to Tywan Jones, who was able to run it for 34 yards. Puts Houston on Buffalo's 10, and then that's all she wrote. Field goal at the end.
Shot.
Yeah.
And quite literally a chip shot. Like, I could have made that with my sandwich.
Oh, but yeah, that game, for all intents and purposes, was pretty exciting, but for not the right reasons. But either way,
it was a ref battling each other.
It was a nice show. It was a nice way to start us off for the playoffs, and it ended up
really set the scene for the rest.
Oh yeah, so
rest of the wild card game.
So my dad and I were actually talking. So me and my dad are huge sports nuts. We might not be the most educated NFL fans, but man, we love sports. We just love watching people compete. So me and him were talking. We were like, "There's no way this next game can be as exciting as the last one," and we were sort of right, but that doesn't take away from how fun it was, especially because we got to see the Titans actually beat the Patriots 2013. No OT.
See, I'm a weird guy, but I like the Patriots. I grew up rooting for San Francisco Bay teams and Boston teams. That's just kind of how I was raised. But watching the Patriots finally lose was bittersweet.
So bittersweet, in fact, that Urinating Tree, one of the most cynical sports ball people I watch on YouTube, actually gave them a pretty solemn and somber send-off.
It was
Urinating Tree has a series on his channel called Congratulations. That is not a typo or a mispronunciation. He literally spells it congratulations to mock teams that are eliminated from playoffs. But for the Patriots, he decided to give them a full-on congratulations. And it wasn't scathing or anything. It was just sad.
It was just like somber. It was like talking to an old friend who's, getting married to someone you don't think they should be getting married to.
That, or like you see a family and they're on life support. You're about to skadoosh that plug right out of there.
To make room for your iPhone charger.
Nah, but yeah. So Titans end up besting the Patriots 2013. Derrick Henry ran for 182 yards. Only one TD, but it was enough to help his team. He had the second most in team receiving yards with one 22-yard pass. Yeah.
I should kind of float this out there, but the game was a lot closer than what we're seeing here and what the scoreboard represents.
Oh, no. It was neck to neck.
It was 14-13 at half and scoreless in the second half.
Until the very end. Yeah, so it was neck and neck the entire time. The game was pretty damn exciting.
Yeah, so it was a defensive battle.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like the Super Bowl last year where it was low scoring but really intense, edge of the seat kind of. Low scoring.
Lots of punts. I liked it.
Yeah.
I love punts.
Yeah, he's a Braden Heisman candidate.
Yep. Braden Man, my boy. Better be the second pick in the draft after Joe Burrow.
He's going to go late third round, I bet.
Give me hope. But anyways, to continue on, Ryan Tannehill threw for 72 yards. Hey, it helped the team get the win. He knew that he had Derrick Henry on the team. He played the smarter game here. Brady ended up throwing for 209 yards, but he had a kind of
59.4 passer rating.
Kind of pathetic, yeah. In the fourth quarter,
wait, for the record,
what?
You could throw every ball straight into the dirt and get a 30 passer rating.
Wow. The more you know.
No, it's a 32, I believe.
The hell do you have to do to get under that? Interceptions?
Interceptions, yeah.
Okay.
I think one game this year, Baker Mayfield has like a 17 passer rating.
Oh my lord. Oh.
It's that one game against San Francisco.
Browns, why you gotta hurt me like that? God damn it.
Dude, not Joey, it was Nick Bosa who came in and just like wrecked his day.
I just want to see the Browns succeed. Thanks, Myles Garrett. Taking away your glimmer of hope.
Justice for Myles Garrett.
Assault and battery.
No, it was just pure football.
I didn't know pure football included swinging your helmet at people's heads, but okay.
Listen, when O.J. Simpson, the pinnacle of pure football, comes out in defense of Myles Garrett, you know he's in the right.
Oh, shut up. No, but yeah, as he said, the game was 14-13 at halftime, and it stayed there until, like, what, the second to last play of the game. So, yeah, coming up on 5 minutes left, the Titans, using some black magic penalty bullshit that they took, apparently they took it from, the Patriots head coach, what's his name? I can't believe I forgot his name.
Belichick.
Yeah, apparently Belichick pulled the same shtick off against the Jets a few games ago, where they were able to burn close to a minute of game time in one down by manipulating the penalty rules before like 5 minutes left in a quarter. What did they? Would you happen to remember what the sequence was that the Titans did?
I do not know the exact. It's some like really tiny rule where I believe it acts as like a timeout, except time doesn't stop, but the play clock doesn't run.
Yeah, because it was like
something weird like that.
I think it was initially 4th and 5. 4th and 5, they didn't want to risk it, so they decided to just punt it. But before punting, they decided to penalize themselves while also burning game time. I think they got 2 penalties. And then the Patriots ended up getting a penalty themselves, and by the time all of that was situated, a minute had been burned off the clock, and it was already like 4:52, I think. So yeah, the Titans did a really bang-up job at the end of maintaining control of the clock, at least until like the final 5 plays. So on the third to last drive of the game, Brett Kern ended up kicking an incredible 58-yard punt that was stopped by the Titans at the New England 1.
Not even the 1, like quarter.
0.5.
1 yard. It was like
they ended up ruling it at the 1 though, right?
Yeah, I mean they don't put it inside the 1, even if it is. Like if you stop it right at that line, they don't put it there. They always just give you the 1.
Like let me just say, I popped off so hard seeing this because I wanted New England to lose. I didn't want to see them in the Super Bowl again. I'm not too big of a fan of dynasties. I like some diversity and success, which is why I partly hate the Warriors so much now. That's a talk for another day. No, but yeah, so after New England's at the 1, of course they have 2 minutes left in the game?
No, they had less than a minute left.
Yeah, you're right. It was less than a minute left.
40-something seconds.
And they pretty much had the Patriots, I think the Patriots ran out of timeouts at that point, right?
Yep.
Which is why they had to throw instead of trying to run.
Yep.
So anyways, of course, you've got Tom Brady, who will undoubtedly go down as one of the best quarterbacks to ever step on the field.
Easy.
And you have him in a very clutch situation. They are down 1 point. They just need to make it to like the 30-yard line so that they can get a kick in to win. But they do have 44 seconds left, no timeouts. So what do? You give it to the big man and let him throw.
To his number 1 receiver, Julian Edelman.
Only for him to deflect the ball, or for the receiver, sorry.
Julian Edelman went to catch it. It bounced off and up. It was caught by the outside linebacker. What was his name?
No idea.
I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
So you got a pick here.
Ran it for pick 6.
Yeah, which, typically that would be the best play, but the Patriots were at the Patriots were on their 1. Too.
It's good to know this. They missed the extra point.
Yeah, they went for a 2-point conversion to make it 21-13. They
went for the 2-point to get the 22 to force.
Yeah, 22-13, so that the Patriots couldn't win unless they somehow scored twice in like what 40 something 30 something seconds. But they missed the opportunity, and they end up giving the Pats better field advantage because now it's on a kickoff instead of being at their one, and all they had to do was score a touchdown and a field goal. But at kickoff, Julian Edelman ends up muffing the catch, so the Pats got to start tossing that ball back to get a miracle run in, like the Miami Hurricanes.
Do the cow, lob it behind you, all that, and it didn't work.
Yeah, no.
And they actually gave the ball back to the Titans.
Ball was
very
fumbled.
one-sided in the last 3 minutes.
Yeah, it hurt to see. As much as I detest the Patriots' legacy, it is bittersweet to see him go. Of course, Brady did say he wasn't retiring the season, but I feel like he should.
Did he verbally say that?
I think he said that after the game.
I don't remember hearing that. I know people are still speculating. No, it is sad to see this decline of Brady, though. Again, I grew up watching football. I love football. And, all these, old-time quarterbacks going down. Roethlisberger, Rivers is going down. We saw Alex Smith go down a couple years ago. All these old guard quarterbacks are just going. So
Breeze
is
still
at the top of his game, but
but we'll get to him in the next.
Has,
we'll get to him in the next
2
game.
more seasons. Yeah.
So, of course, that very exciting Saturday night for football. So here comes Sunday, and I couldn't watch it because I was on a 7-hour drive back to college. So
then I was chilling with family, so I had it on in the background. I wasn't watching the way I usually watch, but
yeah. So we weren't really able to enjoy the games, though I did keep track of it because I wanted to see what would happen. I didn't think the games would be as exciting as last night's, but color me impressed. Apparently, they were also banging. The Vikings ended up beating the Saints 26-20. And I believe
in overtime. Saints, and the rule that all the Saints fans were vying for after getting screwed over last year, screwed them over this year.
Saints had home field advantage, right?
Yep.
Okay, so Kirk Cousins ended up throwing for 242 yards on 19 completions, 31 attempts. Not the best accuracy. Breeze threw
Not
for
the worst.
Yeah. Breeze threw for 208, but with 26 out of 33 on passing, so very consistent play from Drew Brees. Though he was sacked 3 times for a loss of 31 yards total. Dalvin Cook ran for 94 yards, apparently averaged 3.4 yards per run.
And the Saints could not get a run game going to save their life. So.
Yeah. I believe it was I think I was looking at the stats earlier, and it looked like the Vikings were very much using their best offense or their best assets as much as they could, while the Saints were trying to distribute the ball evenly, especially to their receivers.
Well, here's what it is. The Saints' offense consists of Drew Brees, Michael Thomas, and probably Taysom Hill. That's it. Those are their best players. Those are the only people who can really get stuff going. Now, Latavius Murray is really hit and miss. When he was on the Raiders, he was very good. But now that he's here, he's just kind of eh. So, when you double cover Michael Thomas going out, and when you plug up the run so you can't get Taysom Hill to do anything, or you just kind of close their Swiss Army knife, there's not much you can do. So their defense did a fantastic job at containing the Saints.
Thank you for that insight. And that is why you are the other man in this podcast, because
I know
he's the NFL guy. I am the NBA guy. But we do know a little bit about the other sport. I think he probably knows more about the NBA than I do about the NFL, though. Maybe. Probably.
It's close.
We're very even there. But yeah. Anyways, Vikings ended up winning. Vikings ended up winning on the first drive of overtime. Saints are eliminated from. Well, they're eliminated from the playoffs. We get to see the Vikings move on. Oh, that's gonna be a fun game for them, but we'll get to that later. Because right now we've got to cover the Seahawks and the Eagles. You want to take that one?
Sure. Seahawks played awful. And I mean, they just played awful. Their defense was fantastic. Their offense really couldn't get much going. The Eagles, how ironic is it that Carson Wentz gets hurt all the time before actually reaching the playoffs? I don't think he's played in a playoff game besides this one. I want to check that for me, Don. But I know when they went to the Super Bowl, he was injured for like half the season. And so this one, he's like, I think he had 4 passing plays with 1 completion. By that time, he got concussed.
Yeah,
got a concussion.
He was taken out during the second drive for the Eagles. Well, so he got injured in the second drive. I think the first play or the second play on that drive.
Yeah,
and he stayed in. He stayed in for the rest of the drive. And then after the punt, out for the rest of the game. He was taken out back. He was old Yellard.
And so, so they put in my boy Josh McCown. He's an older quarterback. He's one of the 4 quarterbacks to play in the wild card at 40 years or older.
He's up there with the very big names right now.
Drew Brees, Tom Brady, and then some dude named Vinny Testaverde.
I don't know who he is. I just saw that it was a stat that was on NFL, and I thought, hey, that's pretty neat. No idea who Testaverde is, but I'll put him on there.
That's a baller name.
He gets the credit. He gets the credit.
Yeah. Hey, he did. So, Josh McCown has had such a strange career. He's a notorious backup. Kind of like if you want to think of Fitzmagic for the Dolphins, Fitzpatrick. Everywhere he goes, he's not quite good enough to get the first string spot, but he's not bad. And if you give him a chance, he'll probably be okay. And so last night he played, not last night, on Sunday he played his heart out. But God, the Seahawks always have such an amazing defense. He couldn't quite get up there. I think he had something along the lines of like a 200 pass yards, 180 pass yards.
No idea.
Let me check his. I guess
here's the fact check for that Carson Wentz thing that you said. You are correct. In he was drafted in 2016. The Eagles did not make the playoffs then. In 2017, he underwent his ACL injury. ACL injury and surgery. Thus, Nick Foles ended up winning the Super Bowl against the Patriots for the Eagles. 2018, he had a back injury and he was replaced by Nick Foles again. And now 2019. That's rough.
He's made of glass, basically.
When it yeah. It's rough though. He has flashes of brilliance where you think, man, this guy would be a banging QB.
He's a good quarterback until, he gets hit. And then there's nothing you can really do. So, Josh McCown tried his hardest. He wasn't able to get the weapons going the same way Carson Wentz was able to. And that's kind of like how it usually is when you put in a second string in a game, especially in such a high pressure game. Doesn't matter how much experience they have, it's kind of hard to get everything firing. It's the momentum and the personal feelings in the locker room. So he gave it his all. I'll give him credit. And I think he's retiring after this game. He is 40. So
for this game, weren't both teams running on duct tape? Especially the Eagles. Weren't the Eagles running on WD-40 too?
The Eagles are there's no way they're going to go past this game. Even if they won, they weren't going to, go farther. The Seahawks are a bit banged up, but they're not out of it. I know some of their players were kind of hurt, but they were still playing through it. I think Metcalf just came back from an injury, so he played all right. I don't expect him to go much farther than this, though. But that's our next segment we should probably go over to.
Yep. Now we have our playoff predictions, but before that, let's set the stage for the divisional rounds. For the AFC, I believe they play on the 11th. So the Titans, after managing to upset the Patriots, they get their prize for eliminating the perennial Super Bowl contenders by facing the number 1 seed in the red hot big ball having Ravens.
Also, I would like to point this out for this game. The Patriots beat the Ravens earlier this year.
Interesting. Well, if the Titans were able to beat the Patriots and the Patriots were able to beat the Ravens, theoretically, the Titans should be able to beat the Ravens. Mathematically, it checks out.
The Ravens have, I don't know how many losses they have total.
They have 2 losses.
2 losses total?
I believe, so 1 to the Patriots, 1 to the Niners, I believe.
They lost to the Chiefs and the Browns?
Who, the Titans?
Never mind. It wasn't the Patriots who beat them. I just checked their stats for this year. The Chiefs beat them 33-28, and the Browns beat them 40-25. They haven't lost since.
Interesting. Alright, so for the other AFC matchup, I was totally way off. I thought the 49ers beat the Ravens.
No, the 49ers lost.
Oh, yeah, they lost. I remember one of my friends was bitching.
Their defense held them to 20 points, which is ridiculous considering like all the other points. The Bills held them back pretty far too, so they're weak to like average defenses. Not average, but if you have a top 10 defense, you can hold them back pretty hard.
All right, so
Titans don't.
So our next matchup for the divisional round in the AFC, we've got the 4th seed Texans getting to take on Patrick Mahomes and the 2nd seed Chiefs. What's your outlook on that, buddy?
I'll give it to the Chiefs. I don't think they're too banged up right now. I know Mahomes just came back from an injury a couple weeks ago.
How's their D?
Their D's rocking. It's not. I don't think it's top 10, but it's up there.
It's efficient.
Make an argument. It's good. It's definitely solid. Not as solid as last year or the year before, but they got some players.
How does their defense compare to the Bills? Because the Bills tore up the Texans in the first half.
Not as good. Bills have a fantastic defense. It's them and the Niners are like neck and neck.
So for the Texans and Chiefs, we're pretty much just expecting
it should
offensive
be a
powerhouse.
Well, the Texans have a solid defense too. Now that they have J.J. Watt coming back and just being an everlasting thorn in the side of every quarterback playing. So we're gonna have Mahomes scrambling a lot, but that's what he does on any play, anyways. So it's going to be fun to watch. It's definitely going to be a game. I wouldn't recommend missing it. I think it's going to be a kind of like the opposite of the Titans-Patriots, where it's going to be, I think, a little bit more high scoring. But I think the Chiefs are going to win. And if you want me to make a bet, I'm going to say 35-28.
Okay. I'm not even going to bother posting a score because, as I've said,
35-31.
I'm not an NFL savant. And now we've got the next day, the NFC divisional round. We've got the 6th seed Vikings. After upsetting the Saints, they get the consolation prize of facing the number 1 seed 49ers.
My take on this game is the 49ers defense is just ridiculous.
They're just going to swamp the Vikings?
I think the Vikings going to have a very hard time getting anything together, especially with a run defense. And the Niners secondary is pretty solid. Their linebacker core, their D-backs in general, they're pretty good with air raid. And they have Nick Bosa, who is just coming in at every opportunity and just slamming the quarterback whenever he can. So the Vikings are going to have a tough time with that. The Niners' offense is shaky at best. Garoppolo can play like a Hall of Famer, or he can play like a third-string quarterback.
Jimmy G, baby!
Garoppolo. I mean, I don't know what else to say. So it depends.
What's the name of the Niners running back again? Was he the super thick boy?
There's
yeah, they run multiple backs, right? Like sometimes they'll run a running back and a fullback.
Back cores. Yeah. They have Jasicki is their fullback. Matt Breida, I think, is their running
Matt
back
Breida is the
one.
one I'm thinking about.
There's Devin Coleman, who's just so strange. And I think they have a guy by the name of Samuel. I think
Shirk?
it's his last name. Sanders. No.
I just realized both sixth seeds upsetted the third seeds. Huh. One tidbit.
Let me look at the 49ers running backs. Yeah, Tevin Coleman. Oh no, it's Juszczyk, not Jasicki. Jasicki's the tight end for the Dolphins. Juszczyk is the fullback for the Niners. Matt Breida and Mostert is their running back 3. So I mean, they just have such a talented running back core, so they're just going to pound the Vikings secondary there.
That would end up giving Jimmy G a lot of leeway for him then, right?
And George Kittle. I mean, he can't block as well as oh man, why am I forgetting his name? Gronk. He's not quite like Gronk level blocking or catching, but man, is he a weapon. So that should be fun to watch if you like one-sided games.
And now we've got our last divisional round game. We've got the 5th seed Seahawks playing the 2nd seed Packers. I actually have the Seahawks going over the Packers here.
I was going to roast you for that. I think it's going to be the Packers. The Packers have a way of finding victory in the 4th quarter, and the Seahawks have a way of just like in the 4th quarter. So
I'm choosing this only because all of the 2-3 Packers games that I've watched, Aaron Rodgers has not looked hot. He's overthrowing a lot of his passes that I've seen. Emphasis on that I've seen. I haven't kept up with him every game. Although I do see a lot of homebrew analysts say that the Packers are a very, very unsteady 13-3 team.
Yeah, they've barely squeaked out a win in pretty much all their victories have been closer than the scoreboard shows. The Seahawks, basing on their play against the Eagles don't have that great of a D, and to hold them to 17 points is quite a feat. So the Packers D is all right. I mean, you have HaHa Clinton Dix, who's just always there, always just kind of showing up. But yeah. No, did he get traded? No, I don't think he got traded. I think he's still on. But I think the Packers will make this closer than you think, and I think the Packers might actually edge out a victory in probably the final draft.
Yeah. See, I think it's going to be a close game, but I will take the Seahawks over the Packers. So you and I pretty much agree on everything in the divisional round but the Packers, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool. So who you got for your conference champions? Who do you think's making it out of the AFC?
AFC, I'm saying all right. It's gonna be between the Chiefs and the Ravens, and that game is going to be I don't know. That's gonna be a shootout. If the Chiefs defense can hold the Ravens, kind of like they did last time, it's gonna be a very high scoring game regardless, but I think the Chiefs could win. If the Ravens just keep playing the way they're playing, with just reckless abandon, heads down, go for it, then the Ravens.
Balls to the wall.
But then again,
nuts out.
The Chiefs kind of do know how to hold Lamar Jackson. All you got to do is put a spy on him. But when you put a spy on him, you have, all their, you have Mark Ingram, who will just like pound it down the middle. You have Antonio Brown's cousin, what's his name? Something like Marquise Brown or something, going off on the right side. I mean, they just have so many weapons at their disposal on offense. It could be close.
So you have who are you taking? I
have a very high scoring game with it that could go either way. And I'll say right now, Ravens 45-42.
Okay, I agree
Go
with
to
you.
the field.
Not on score because I didn't bother scoring because it's literally just going to be guesses for me. But I do think the Ravens are going to edge it out over the Chiefs. And not be. That's not because I know a lot about it. I just want to see the Ravens go up against who I think is going to win the NFC. That's the 49ers. Because I really want to see that
49ers are
game
gonna
again.
win the NFC. They don't have that much competition.
They have to face either the Seahawks or the Packers.
The injured Seahawks or the underperforming Packers, and they've already played both of them. They've already beat both teams, so I don't think it's gonna be that hard for those.
Yeah,
Niners.
I don't
The
think
hard part about the Niners is staying healthy for this game.
I don't think Rogers' discount double check is gonna cover enough for how much the Niners are just gonna wreck house if they face against each other. It's gonna be ugly.
If the Ravens and 49ers meet in the Super Bowl, it's going to be worse than the last time they met in the Super Bowl.
What do you mean worse?
Ravens are going to wreck the Niners, I think, this time. The Niners do have a defense, so hold back the Ravens. But if we see the Niners, they're getting I wish I had like a board to like diagram all this like the sportscasters do. But you have the defensive play for the Niners starting to go down. And I could point out all the scores against them recently. They're not the same team that held the Ravens to 20 points. I think it's going to be higher than that. And I think the Ravens kind of figured out the Niners, Shanahan's defense, their weaknesses. The Niners, I think, I don't know. I think this is going to be a more one-sided game than I would hope for.
I'm giving it to the Niners, and this was on a coin flip. Literal coin flip.
I'm giving it to the Ravens.
All right.
My mom is a diehard 49ers fan. I'm a Raider fan, so there's always
Sorry, mommy.
Fight there. But I remember she would make me go to the 49er playoff games back when they were really good with Kaepernick playing and all that stuff. And I remember watching them lose to the Ravens.
What was that?
Laughing.
What was that? Was that 2012, 2013?
Yeah, I think it's 2012.
That was back when I first started
Harbaugh,
watching.
Both head coaches, so
yeah.
it's two brothers going at each other. Joe Flacco earned his ability to be called an elite quarterback, even though he's really not that good. All right.
And let's go ahead and move on, because of course after the Super Bowl, you gotta have your drafts. Gotta figure out where all these poor college boys are going to. And by poor, I mean like whoever's getting drafted in the top 6. Where are they going?
Here's what it is. Our section is NFL draft first round bust predictions. So who's going to be a first round bust?
I don't know anything. I don't know enough about who's getting drafted to where.
Or so okay, I'll take over this.
Estimates. Yeah. Go ahead.
So CBS Sports put out a 2020 NFL mock draft. So that's what I'm basing my picks off of. All right. So you have Joe Burrow going number 1 overall to Cincinnati, which a lot of people are saying is going to ruin him. But after like looking at the stats and everything, Andy Dalton was sacked 37 times this year, which is pretty bad. But Jimmy Garoppolo was sacked 36 times. So
and Burrow can throw on the run. So
Burrow can throw on the run. Andy Dalton can't.
Yeah. I just want to take a guess. Is Tua predicted to go number 2?
No. Tua's not supposed to go until pick 5 to the Miami Dolphins.
Interesting.
Chase Young, however, who is arguably the best player in the draft, edge rushers, linebackers, they're not really picked to be in the Heisman running that often. So when you see it, you know it's impressive. With 16.5 sacks on the season, really impressive. So Chase Young, I think, is going to be the number 1 draft bust. He's a great player, but he's going to the Washington Redskins. And the organization that is the... to say what Urinating Tree said...
A legacy of failure?
The the NFL. You have, right now, as we speak, players who are in the prime of their career saying, I'd rather not play ever again than play for the Redskins one more season. and just walking off from contracts, $1 million contracts. So you know there's something wrong. And they need one person on defense who can just make any play whatsoever so teams don't walk over him again. Yeah, I think Chase Young is going to have too much on his plate, and I think he's going to wash out or not achieve the levels of success people are thinking he's going to.
Or hoping he's going to.
Next up on the draft bust, Tua Tagovailoa. I'm sorry, he's a great quarterback in college.
But he's going to the Dolphins?
He's going to the Dolphins, which have such a high sack rate.
But
I think it's one of the higher in the NFL right now. He's injured too. His hip was a pretty bad injury. And plus, when he injured his hip, he wasn't even completely over the high ankle sprain, which required surgery to fix. So you have, he goes against any of the Bosas or, any NFL caliber, edge rusher coming in at him is just going to make his life hell. So,
I have one question though. How in the hell were the Dolphins able to upset the Patriots then? What happened that game?
Patriots just couldn't get it done on offense.
Enough to the point where the Dolphins were able to scramble, give them the loss and send them to the wild card?
Fitzmagic had his annual little taste of perfection. God, Fitzmagic. He's the only quarterback with 3 back-to-back 400-yard games.
What in the world? You think Tua's going to start over him?
Yeah. Fitzmagic's old. He's going to be 38 next season.
Wait, was Ryan Fitzpatrick the old quarterback for the Cardinals?
No.
That was Matt Ryan, right?
No, Matt Ryan didn't play for the Cardinals.
Who the hell was the old...
It might have actually been Dalton.
Andy Dalton?
Dalton might have played there. I don't exactly know. I'm trying to remember.
For a second there, I actually forgot the Cardinals existed.
And then I stopped following there once they got rid of, or once Warner retired.
Let me see. Carson Palmer,
that's right. Yeah. He went from the Bengals to the Raiders to Cardinals. Yeah. And he played great everywhere except the Raiders. Because the Raiders didn't have a line. Speaking of the Raiders, my next draft bust is going to be for the Raiders. And I think it's going to be their linebacker, who's the first rated linebacker in the draft. However, when the Raiders draft defensive players, they never work out very well.
I was going to say, I thought you were pretty hot on the Raiders next season.
No, they never draft well. Their offense might be good. Later on, they're drafting the wide receiver out of Colorado, Chenault Jr., who, if you watch him, he's pretty good. I like his ball handling skill. He's fast. He's physical. It's going to really work out with their West Coast offense. But Kenneth Murray out of Oklahoma, they're hoping to draft another Khalil Mack, but they don't know what to do. Even if they got Khalil Mack again, they wouldn't really know. Gruden doesn't believe in analytics, so it's not like they'd use any of these players to their full potential. And going through, I can't really think of any other people who stand out as busts right now. Because that second or the first Raider pick is about where like people start dropping off of the whole hype train. Isaiah Simmons going to the Jaguars, highly overrated as a safety. So if they don't transition him to a linebacker, I don't think he's going to quite as well. And if you don't speak football at all, I apologize for my whole rambling and everything.
Then again, if you don't speak football, I don't know how you even made it to this point of the podcast. Unless you just like listening to two dudes having just vibing, talking about sports ball.
Sports ball.
All right, so I think that's probably enough NFL talk for the day.
Yeah,
we can go ahead.
I will hand you the torch so you can kind of like lead everything for the NBA.
Let's examine, or let's see where the teams are at almost halfway through the season. That we're coming up right into the halfway point, and it's probably a good time to see where everyone's at. So for the Eastern Conference, number 1, of course, Giannis Antetokounmpo's Milwaukee Bucks. Of course, they're number 1. They are 32-6, looking dominant. December, they were red hot. I forgot what their longest streak was. I believe it was like a 13 game winning streak, removed by a Luka Doncic-less Dallas Mavericks. I believe in the Bucks home court. They're still looking good though. They're 32-6. They're more than likely gonna retain the top spot in the Eastern Conference. They're probably gonna make it to the finals unless they end up facing the 76ers, which could be a possibility if the Sixers end up making it past the first round of the playoffs, if the conference stays how it looks right now. Number 2, you've got the Boston Celtics. They've been looking good. Of course, the injuries have plagued them a little bit. Gordon Hayward being one of the notable examples. I believe Jaylen Brown's struggling a little bit. I think that's what my father told me. No, but they're still looking good. Kemba Walker is doing a great job of replacing Kyrie Irving. You've got third, which is a surprise for a lot of people going into the season, including me. You have the Miami Heat. Jimmy Butler is sort of leading them, but not really. Goran Dragic is doing a hell of a job as a point guard. Bam Adebayo, where the hell did he come from? I don't know, but holy hell, you are impressing me. We got number 4, the Toronto Raptors, last year's champions. I expected them at around this spot. Pascal Siakam is looking like an all-star player now. Kyle Lowry's thick ass is doing a great job holding it down whenever everyone else is hurt. Very consistent player from the Raptors. Then you've got 5th, my Philadelphia 76ers. They're half of a game behind the Toronto Raptors for the 4th spot.
So I have a question.
What is it?
You're from West Texas. That's kind of where you've grown up most of your life. Very rural.
I was born in the Philippines.
Yeah,
I
get this.
Yes.
And then Oregon for like a year or 2, and then like West Texas from the time you're like 8 to, now you're 20, 21?
From 8 to 18.
8 to 18.
No, 7 to 18, I think.
7 to 18, and then now you're 20s because you lived 2 years in College Station. I'll dox you a little bit there.
Yes. Agam
Kiggies. All right. So, how does someone with your background root for the 76ers?
Probably in the same way that my father is a Boston Celtics fan. So, as he said, I am from the Philippines. I am an immigrant. My father was... So I've been on this earth for close to 21 years now. And in that entire time, I've known 2 things. I love basketball, and my father does, I guess 3 things. My father does as well, and he's a lifelong Celtics fan. I don't know if he's ever been to Boston.
It's chill.
He grew up in the Central Philippines. He hasn't lived in America for we moved here around 2006. So he's only been in America for 14 years. But he's been affiliated with the Boston Celtics for God knows how long. And I get maybe it's the culture, maybe it's the players. I'm a fan of the 76ers because of Sam Hinkie. Yes.
Okay.
He tanked for our sins. And now we are thriving, sort of. We're sort of thriving. Thanks to his draft picks. But now he's gone. Just an NBA
like double six.
He's just a legend.
Yeah.
He's a legend general manager, and I don't know if we'll ever see him manage another team ever again. I hope he doesn't, for his legend, because he didn't create tanking, but he revolutionized it. He
It's
weaponized.
kind of like how the Beatles, revolutionized the whole boy band game.
Yeah, Sam Hinkie revolutionized the tanking game, and it's what gave the 76ers so many number 1 picks and draft assets to work with. He was a maestro behind the scenes. The fan base just had to suffer for many years, but now they're enjoying it. We have Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons who can do literally anything but shoot. And now we're in 5th because we gave Tobias Harris a lot of money to be a deep threat, but not been too consistent this season. We got rid of JJ Redick, who was incredible for us for extending our range. And Tobias Harris he's not doing too good of a job filling in for that hole. Al Horford's been a nice pickup. It's definitely bolstered our inside game, which is why I hope we do end up beating the Bucks in the Eastern Conference Finals, because Sixers are a terrible matchup for the Bucks. Because if you can stop Giannis from shooting and you have great interior defense, you pretty much take out the team. Because if Giannis is not doing well, the team suffers. At number 6, you have the Indiana Pacers, who don't even have Victor Oladipo until the 29th.
Well, look at this. You have TJ Warren just absolutely carrying their teams. With,
the Pacers have been
30 points a game.
They've been a pleasant surprise. They have Malcolm Brogdon now, right? They picked him up from the Bucks.
I don't think so. Let me check their this link that you sent in. I can check their
Malcolm Brogdon. Yeah, no, he's on the Pacers now. Yeah,
right.
He's been doing a great job for the Pacers. Of course, he was doing well for the Bucks. Really, both teams are thriving now. Malcolm Brogdon's happy. He was happy with the Bucks, but he just wanted a bigger role, so he went to the Pacers.
Field goal percentage, 3-point percentage is 33.3. Okay.
And at number 7, with a record of 17-20, we have the Orlando Magic. I don't really know much about them, but I know that they have my boy Markelle Fultz, who was drafted by the 76ers. And although he's not with us anymore, I wish him nothing but success, because his journey in the NBA has been tumultuous, to say the least. Just a slew of injury after injury, mysterious injuries that affected how he can shoot, because he was lights out when he was in college. But then he came to the NBA, and out of nowhere, his shoulder decided to not work, and he can't shoot anymore. But now he's slowly getting back up on his feet. When Markelle Fultz is on the court for the Magic, I believe he's giving them like a +10.
He's a comeback story.
I don't know a lot of 76ers fans that don't want to see him succeed, because let's be real here, we don't like seeing players that just fall off out of nowhere because of shitty injuries. It's not fun.
Well, I don't think any sports fans like that.
No, unless you're the insane sports fan.
Unless you're like Philadelphia fans who just
or a Boston fan.
Everything. Oh god, Boston fans.
What's up with the East Coast and their toxicity, dude? Holy hell!
Like, I'm a Boston fan, I'll admit, but I'm not a Bostonian.
You're not a Brady tard.
I just grew up in an Irish Catholic family, and the mecca of Irish Catholicism is Boston. It's no longer Dublin,
Yeah.
So I just grew up kind of like rooting for those kind of teams. So I enjoy watching them succeed. However, when they play bad, I enjoy laughing at them. Although,
more like laughing at the fans.
Celtics. Yeah, I like watching the fans kind of
because the fans blow up.
I love watching everyone saying like, Brady's still elite. No, it's not. It's time to just let him die. Let him go down. But anyways, we're talking about basketball, and so I'm enjoying the Celtics' success right now. But I know it's not going to last forever.
They look good. Kemba Walker was a terrific pickup for them.
He was. and they're doing such a good job, just like developing talent too.
Jaylen Brown and
What are they reminding me of right now?
Jason Tatum. That is going to be a dynamic duo.
They're reminding me of the Warriors, like when they built their talent rather than drafted in.
Develop them after injuries so that they could give their young players a time to shine.
Yep.
I like it. I like the callback.
Yeah. I mean, it's not exact, but it's like reminiscent.
Yeah. The Celtics have a nice balance of veterans and young up and coming players. Even though Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, I think they're in their third years in the NBA. Yeah, I'm pretty either third or fourth years.
Tatum's pretty young.
They're both young, but they're gonna be solid in the next 5 years. I think they're gonna be all-stars by then.
They're gonna have long careers, I hope. But Brooklyn Nets. Next up is Brooklyn Nets.
At
16-20 on a
7-game losing streak. That is rough, dude.
They fell from like first, didn't they?
The Nets?
Or like up there.
I don't think they've ever. I'm not sure. I think maybe they were like fifth at one point. I don't remember. They've never been in the same vein as the Bucks, Celtics, or the Heat.
Gross.
But then again, the Nets are missing Kyrie, right? Kyrie, KD, obviously. Is DeAndre Jordan playing right now?
I don't know.
I know.
I'm trying to go through to see if they have any injuries.
I remember through November, whenever Kyrie was injured, and a little bit of December, Spencer Dinwiddie was balling out in Kyrie's absence. KD's gonna be out until next season.
Yeah.
Kyrie's hurt, I think. I don't know. Kyrie's an odd character.
I don't even see. Oh, there he is, Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
It's funny how he's only like an inch taller than me, but when you compare like everyone else there, he's the shortest on the team. Oh no, Chris Chiozza is the shortest there. DeAndre Jordan though, usually he's a playmaker. I don't see. Is he just like not playing right now?
I don't see a lot of Nets on primetime TV. Probably because Kyrie's or Kyrie hasn't been playing.
And KD's not playing till next season.
I mean, Kyrie and DeAndre sound like a disgusting duo. Oh. Again, Kyrie is a shoot first guard, so I don't know. Maybe it's a hustle thing for DeAndre Jordan. He's obviously athletic enough. He's definitely improved on his free throws since a few years ago, where he was shooting, I think, like 40%.
Ooh, that's worse than
He was at Dwight Howard levels of free throw missing. And then I think out of nowhere in one season with one of the seasons he was with the Mavs, it just jumped up to 70. I think. Don't know what I think what he did was he fixed his foot placement. I think he's
free throw percent right now is at 68.1 for the season.
See, foot placement makes a very big difference.
His first season, LA Clippers, that being 38.5.
Holy shit! That is rough.
Oh my god.
Yeah. But anyways,
I could do better than that, and that's saying something. All right.
But yeah, those are the, if the NBA season ended right now, those would be your playoff. Those are the people that would represent you in the playoffs. Although, between the 12th and 7th seeds, the 12th seed, the Washington Wizards, they are only down 4.5 games from that 7th seed. And of course, the Nets, they're on a 7-game losing streak. Who knows when that's gonna end? It's not as tight as the Western Conference for the 8th seed. We'll get to that later. But it is still a competition.
8 and 9 are on losing streaks. Detroit Pistons are the only one on an uptake with one win streak.
But the problem with the Pistons is they just lost Blake Griffin for the entire season.
Ooh, what'd he go down for?
I'm not sure, but he's getting a season-ending surgery.
It's probably his knees. Dude has glasses.
Probably. And the Bulls on a 4-game losing streak, so winner take all for that 7th and 8th spot. Although
the City one's game pretty much.
Yeah, because the Magic are only a half of a game above the Nets. So winner take all. Who knows where we're gonna be at next week if we end up revisiting this. Now for the Western Conference, big surprise: the Los Angeles Lakers are leading. They have in terms of win percentage, they are only beaten by the Bucks. They are at a fat 30-7. LeBron James is having a hell of the time with the Lakers. He doesn't even care. I think this is the season where LeBron decided, hey, I want to see how good I get at passing. Because his playmaking, he's always been a good playmaker, but this season has been absurd. His passes are gorgeous. Have you seen some of the highlights of the Lakers?
No.
LeBron,
I haven't been keeping up with basketball.
So right now, LeBron James is leading the league in assists. He is the assist leader.
Assists per game at 10.8. Oof.
The man's is going berserk.
He has no rebounds
though. The Lakers are almost looking like a Lob City 2.0. Which makes sense because the Clippers, who were the former Lob City boys, are in Los Angeles. But yeah, Lakers look good. Pretty much everyone expected that. Big surprise. You have LeBron. You have AD on the same team. If you don't do good with that team, what the hell are you doing? So props to them. They look good. They're fun to watch. They got the Caruso show on there. The Bald Mamba. Alex Caruso. 2 baskets a game. Let's go, dude. Getting MVP chance even though he makes 2 baskets a game. He's a very reliable role player, though.
Kostas Antetokounmpo. That's
Giannis's little brother.
Yep.
Some flashes of brilliance. Who knows? Maybe those Antetokounmpo boys, I don't know what's in their genes, but it's disgusting. They are freak athletes. I want to see more of it.
Greece, aren't they?
Yeah, they're Greek Nigerian.
Like, what the hell is Greece feeding their basketball players? Like, it's all that. What is Greek food anyway? It's like grape leaves.
It's just whatever Mediterranean food is.
Man, gotta start feeding it to our our boys here.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're playing their hearts out.
And number 2, you've got Nikola Jokic's Denver Nuggets. Jokic, Dr. Pepper himself. That's a Reddit joke. He, after that slump that he had, the beginning of the season slump in September and a little bit of October, is finally balling the hell out for the Nuggets. They're at 25-11. 69% win rate. Nice. Nuggets, everyone expected them to be here. If anything, we expected their season to go better, but they had that rough start. Then again, Jokic, I believe he does have a history of having rough starts for every season, which is odd because he played for the national team this summer. So he should have gotten a lot of playtime and a lot of cardio so that he would be in tip-top shape coming into the season, but he's looking a little bit chunky, right?
Dude, if I had the money half of these like NBA players have, I'd be so goddamn chunky. I'd be smoking pork butts like every weekend. I mean, I'd just be doing some.
The thing with
stuff.
Jokic though is that he is a technical maestro. He is the master of the ball. He's got the prettiest passes in the game. He's a big man who can dribble like a guard. He's all right at shooting. Imagine if he had athleticism. If he had a quicker step, I'm just saying.
So he's just an example of having all like the mental aspects for it, but not having the physicality.
Sort of. Jokic does get into dry spells where he just looks depressed as hell. He doesn't look like he's happy at all. But then again, that could just be the Eastern European face.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
who knows?
I'd be pretty sad if I was from Eastern Europe.
Well, and you've got number 3, Houston Rockets.
No surprise there.
No surprise. James Harden.
I'm surprised they're not higher.
I don't know. See, I like the parallels between the Nuggets and the Rockets, in which the Nuggets are just they're very defensive. I don't know if they're as defensive as the Utah Jazz. Well, the Rockets are just all offense. We're gonna shoot as many threes as we want. We're just gonna give James Harden the ball and let him do his thing, and we'll get onto that later. Or Russell Westbrook, because Russell Westbrook has not looked like Russell Westbrook the entire season. Just a decent amount of it.
I mean, has he ever come back from his farm?
From what?
His farm?
I don't know.
Russell Westbrook
on a farm.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lil Dicky, for that.
Thank you, Lil Dicky. Thank you, Base God.
I don't know. As the season goes on, Russell Westbrook is looking more and more comfortable playing with the Rocket system. They might, I don't know. Depending on James Harden's health, the Rockets really could be a championship contender. It's just that with how much James Harden is shooting, and it looks like he's playing a lot of minutes too. I don't know how well he's gonna fare in the playoffs, because that is typically when the Rockets start to see some problems. And then you've got number 4, which may be a surprise to a lot of people, but I did expect this. The Los Angeles Clippers. They're at 26 and 12.
They're a solid team every year.
Yeah, they're a solid team every year. We shouldn't expect.
They're like the Packers. They always have a good season. They're not gonna have like losing seasons, I don't think. But it's good to see them compete.
Yeah. So people,
even after losing, when they lose, oh god, I'm already forgetting his name. God,
CP3.
Yeah.
They lost Chris Paul, I think, like 4 years ago.
Was it? No, not Chris Paul. Sorry. We were just talking about him.
Blake Griffin.
Yeah.
I think he left the same season as CP3.
Really?
Maybe. No, I think afterwards.
No, I thought it was only like a year ago.
No, 2 years. I think 2 years ago.
2 years ago?
I believe Blake's been with the Pistons for either 2 or 3 seasons now. Yeah. Rest in peace, Lob City. You were fun to watch, but you were never going to make it to the finals. This team, though, they easily could. A lot of people expected them to be higher because they have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, with pretty much the same roster as last season, but Kawhi's gonna... They're gonna watch Kawhi's health. He's gonna load manage. Of course, they're not gonna... I don't think they're gonna be trying too hard. Patrick Beverley is a perennial all-star defender.
Yeah.
He will always be a thorn in the side of anyone that's a guard, even a small forward. If you're a small forward, if you got Pat Bev on you, the little rat's gonna be fighting. The Clippers are disgusting on defense. There's a reason why they're 2-0 against the Lakers. They're gonna be fine, even if they're only number 4. And at 5th, you've got the Utah Jazz. Not a surprise.
Okay,
they're a terrific defensive team.
All like the West.
What?
All of these teams, you could all see them fighting for like that number 1 spot.
The Western Conference is just historically been strong. It's always a nightmare to get into them, because the top teams are strong as hell, and then the bottom teams suffer because of how strong and how consistent the top teams are. Yeah, Utah Jazz, great defense. Rudy Gobert might win another DPOY. Or I don't know. Bam Adebayo's looking real good for that DPOY spot too. Donovan Mitchell's only getting better as time passes. They're a fun team. Shout out to Joe Ingles, the Scranton Strangler himself, doing a great job as a role player for the Utah Jazz. I want to see more minutes from him. I love Joe Ingles. At 6th, you've got the Dallas Mavericks, who, after experiencing a few odd losses, finally have a win. They don't have a losing streak anymore. They're at 23 and 13. Of course, they're being led by the Wonder Kid, Doctor Strange himself, Luka Doncic.
Oh, come on. Don't forget about the black sheep of the Curry family.
Seth Curry.
I
mean, he's definitely putting in his work as a bench player. Kristaps Porzingis, he's not doing as well as I hoped he would, but I guess that is to be expected given that, number 1, he's just coming back from a long-ass injury, and number 2, this is a new team to work with. But I'm hoping to see flashes of how he looked in the Knicks soon, because Luka's taken a lot of the heat for the Mavs. He's gonna need some help real soon. At number 7, big surprise here, at least for me at least, you've got the Oklahoma City Thunder, who after trading Russell Westbrook for CP3 and a bunch of draft assets, I thought they were in full tank mode. No, CP3 has said, nah, we good. He looks happy. The Thunder team looks happy. They're seventh in the Western Conference Finals. And they don't look bad. I think you've got 8th, which is a huge surprise. The San Antonio Spurs. A huge surprise for me at least. Because they don't really have a lot of deep threats except for Patty Mills. DeMar DeRozan's still pulling DeMar DeRozan moves. LaMarcus Aldridge is good as always, but you know, they just don't have the deep threats to be battle in the West. But they're 8th in the conference. However, like I said when talking about the Eastern Conference, the 8th seed has a huge battle. So from the 13th seed Suns to the 8th seed Spurs, there's a 2-game difference. Meaning it literally is anybody's game for that last spot in the playoffs. Hell, even the Thunder. The Thunder could go on a losing streak and they would just end up not making it into the playoffs if they lose like 2 games.
The Pelicans can go on a hell of a run even.
Yeah, the Pelicans are only 4 games down from the Spurs as well.
Spurs are 15 wins. Pelicans are 12. But I think it's mostly like by how many losses you have.
If you are not the Golden State Warriors, you have a chance of making it into the Western Conference playoffs.
Can I get an F in chat?
No! No! Because the Warriors have had continued success for the past 5 years. They're gonna have this one season of poor games and a terrible season. But guess what? They're gonna get one of the best picks in the draft. Of course, this is gonna be a fairly weak draft by the past few years. But the Golden State Warriors have proven to get they're really good at incubating random players. Like this team, for example, of course, the record doesn't show it. They're 9-29, but they're in the Western Conference, and this is the nastiest Western Conference we've seen in years. The Golden State Warriors are until like the last few weeks have been running on no All-Stars. They're all bench players that have to play starting roles because, of course, Klay Thompson's out for the season. Steph's hand is broken. D'Lo, I forgot what happened to him. He had an injury or something. Draymond, he's not an offensive player. He's a role player. I don't want to call him an over-glorified playmaker because when you have Steph and Klay, when you have shooters around him, he will shine. And he's as good on defense as always. But my thing with the Warriors is they don't deserve an F in chat because next season they're going to have an incredible bench because their bench has had an entire season to play against the top teams in the league. So they're going to have all that training. And then you're going to have all of your All-Stars back. They're literally just going to be back in championship contention at the price of one season.
Baby.
They don't deserve that F. And I hate it. Because they're just going to be right back into the scene.
I'd like to give an F. But, you know. If you're going to be a bad sport about it, then don't give them the F.
I'm not a bad sport about it. I'm being realistic. It's literally... So, 1 out of the last, 6 years of them having a bad record? Bruh.
Well, I mean, to go from, the team everyone's terrified of to just being... look at their record.
They're gonna be right back next season!
Okay, but right now,
everyone knows
it has to be, dunked on at every, turn.
Well, what else do you expect when all of your All-Stars are injured? The basketball gods took their price. And now the basketball gods are deciding to give them back their full refund plus a little bit more. Next season.
Sucks to suck, dude.
God. Oh. But anyways, on to our last topic of the day.
Harden's bizarre strat.
So, last night...
I can't read.
Last night, typically at nights, I like to browse r/NBA just so that I can see the scoops on what's been happening in the latest games. And I decided to see the stat line, or user Lick by Doncic found. I don't know how he found this. I guess he was just scrolling through the shooting splits for James Harden, and I quote: James Harden is shooting 39.7% on step back 3-point shots so far this season with a whopping 267 attempts. It's cool and all, so I decided to delve deeper into this. So, turns out there's at least a 5% increase in accuracy for Harden when he takes a step back 3 instead of a normal jump shot on his 3. Why? It's a harder shot, theoretically. And not just that. So James Harden, turns out, is shooting. He's averaging 38.6 points per game on 57% effective field goal percentage. To make that even more insane, only 14.6% of his shots, or of his made shots, are assisted. That means for pretty much 85% of his shots that are made, he is creating that shot. Or he's just shooting right in the face of other people. Or step backing, I guess. And out of his 200 and so he shot 267 step backs from 3. You want to know how many step backs he shot that aren't from 3? 5.
No, 267 total.
Yeah,
So
no, 272 total. 260. Yeah, 267 are from 3-point land. Only five step backs he's taken this season aren't from deep. And even then, he's shooting 80%. He's made 4 out of 5. So I decided I might as well look at some weird stats too, see if I can find anything. So, what I found, I've been fascinated with Giannis for God knows how long. I've been saying since my freshman year of high school, back in 2013, that Giannis was going to go down as one of the, if not the greatest player to ever step on the court. I shit you not. I've been saying this since 2013, and if you ask any of my friends, maybe one of them will agree with you, because not a lot of my friends watch basketball. But yeah, I decided to look at Giannis to see if I could find anything interesting. So, of Giannis's 705 field goal attempts this season, 25.7% of them have been from 3-point land. Which is interesting considering, a lot of people assume Giannis to just be a drive and dunk, drive and layup, Euro step into oblivion, just anything in the paint guy. And they wouldn't be wrong. Last season, only 16% of his attempts were from 3. And he did not shoot well at all, because last season he shot 25.6% from 3. This season, he's shooting 32.6, and although that's still not good, that's a 5% increase in just 1 year. He's already one of, if not the best paint player in the league right now, at least when he's driving. But if you add a 3-point shot to that, a consistent one, the Bucks are actually unstoppable. I think in December, whenever the Bucks were going on that 13 game winning streak, Giannis was averaging five attempts from 3 every game, and he made around 40% of those. That's dumb. What do you do in a pick and roll against that if Giannis can shoot 3s? Because if you go under the pick, he can shoot a 3 and make it like the Curry problem. Or if you go over, he can cut to the basket and either dish it out to an open man because someone's going to have to guard him, or he's going to get a free dunk, or he's just going to get a free dunk by just yamming it into someone's face. If Giannis develops a consistent jump shot, it's over for the league. And I've been saying that for, I think, a few years now. He's a monster. He has all the athletic gifts in the world. Now, if he gets more technical prowess, he could actually be the best player to ever step onto the court. Did you happen to find anything interesting?
No, I besides my dumbass theory that the more hair Harden gets on his face and head, the better he shoots. Nothing really.
Maybe he needs to grow a full-on afro.
Luka and Trae Young going to the All-Star Weekend 3-point contest, and neither in the top 50 for accuracy.
That is, that actually is sad for the players that should have been able to make it. But I understand that they want to get more viewers onto that.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you put two of the hottest young names? Even they're the sophomores now.
I mean, Luka can. I don't know.
Trae Young
like he shows up like
Trae Young makes a lot more sense.
You know?
What is it?
Luka. It seems like he only shows up to like play on the games he wants to. It just seems like he vibes a lot.
I beg to differ. Luka, the only reason a lot of people think Luka is lights out from three is because the sheer volume of threes that he takes. Homeboy is chucking it up from there. The thing is, when Luka gets hot, Luka gets hot. He will make Harden-like step-back threes with ease whenever he's on fire. But the thing is, he's not always on fire. So here's some statistics. I believe Trae Young, he's a little bit deserving. I'm not going to argue against him being in the All-Star Weekend 3-point contest. He makes a little bit of sense, especially for the Atlanta Hawks. They haven't had John Collins this entire season. Everyone already knew that they were going to be middle of the pack at best. If not, they're going to be bad. They have been pretty bad, but Trae Young is looking damn good this season. So here's some stats to show how interesting it is that they made it into the All-Star Weekend 3-point contest. Trae Young is 75th in 3-point accuracy, shooting at 37.5%. That is fairly average for the league. But Luka, so you know how I said Giannis still isn't shooting well from 3, even though he's made a 5% increase?
Mm-hmm.
Luka's only shooting 0.5% better than him. Yeah, he's at 133rd in 3-point accuracy. Although both are in the top 10 for attempts. So Trae's attempted 320, Luka 302. But Trae's a lot more accurate because he's in the top 5 for makes with 123s. Luka is 13th with 100. As I said, Luka is a volume 3-point shooter. He will chuck them up when he's feeling it. Unfortunately, even when he's feeling it, sometimes it's just not gonna go in. Anyways, it's been a nice, pretty much. Yeah, it's been an hour and almost a half at this point. I think it's probably a good time to end it here. We've covered a lot of the current events, at least in the NFL and the NBA. Of course, we can't get into injuries, or this podcast would be a lot longer. Yeah, we just wanted to end on a little bit of fun, weird stats, because him and I, we love our wacky numbers. We love sports ball, and of course, we're only fans. We're not statisticians, but we do like looking at the numbers.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this is our first OnlyFans podcast. Thank you for joining us, and if you stayed this long, wow.
Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see videos similar to this one.
And with that, we are gone.
Thank you. Have a good night.